with Shirley Hancock.
Channel 2 Weather on the Hour is brought to you by Portland International Airport, providing better access to the world.
On World News Tonight this Friday, the United States joins the campaign against an Austrian politician who is causing an uproar in Europe. The workers' paradise. That's what the Soviets used to say. It's actually America. Running the Negro out of Tulsa. 80 years later, it's officially a massacre. And we'll take a closer look at television, interactivity, and the latest attempt to win prime time.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with echoes of the Second World War and a political campaign against one country in Europe. Tonight, the United States is withdrawing its ambassador to Austria because a political party led by a man named Jörg Haider is now part of the Austrian government. This is Mr. Haider, and the Secretary of State Madeleine Albright said today there is no place in Europe for a party that does not distance itself from the atrocities of the Nazi era and the politics of hate. But is it right to punish a democratic government before it has done anything? Mr. Haider's produced a lot of controversy, and so too is what's happening to Austria. We begin in Vienna with ABC's Richard Gisbert.
The hard feelings over Jörg Haider are dividing Austrians. Outside the presidential palace today, protesters and riot police. Inside, the president was swearing in the new government. The government will include Haider's Freedom Party, which many people consider racist and sympathetic to Nazism.
It's a very dark day in the history of Austria, and we haven't learned anything from our past. And I think it's time that the world from outside understands that it's not the government we wanted.
More than 1 in 4 Austrians did vote for the Freedom Party, and tonight their president went on television asking the world, please do not prejudge us. But some governments had already made up their minds. Israel pulled its ambassador out today, put him on a plane home. Portugal canceled a state visit. Finland and Germany said they will suspend all high-level political contact with Austria. And it's not just diplomats. A Belgian museum canceled plans to lend a famous painting to an Austrian museum, and Belgian schools called off ski trips to the Austrian Alps. Today, Germany's chancellor was one of the people talking about Haiderization, the prospect that Jörg Haider's rise here in Austria could revive the far right elsewhere in Europe. And tonight, leaders of Austria's Catholic Church held a special service. They asked for tolerance and reconciliation, but not everyone was in the church to get the message. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, Vienna.
So we said at the beginning the United States today brought home its ambassador from Austria for what's called consultation. That's a message to the Austrian government about the U.S. government being displeased. Let's go to Washington, where ABC's John Cochran joins us at the White House tonight. John, why has the Clinton administration done this?
Because this party is now actually a part of the government. It's not like having a racist, for example, sit in Congress. It is, according to American officials, like appointing a racist as Secretary of Defense. The feeling of American officials is that this party is certainly racist, possibly crypto-Nazi, that it's a virus, that it could spread across Europe. The United States had to act, and had to act early.
Does the United States government worry at all about a measure of hypocrisy here? Mr. Haider was elected freely in a democratic state. He's not serving in the government, only his party.
Yes, but the feeling is that these people who serve under him do serve under him. They are his underlings. Incidentally, Peter, some people may wonder, was there pressure from Jewish groups in the United States for the Clinton administration to act? American officials say there was some pressure. It was not intense pressure. American officials said, these are bad guys. We had to send them a message.
Thanks very much, John. Just to remind you that the Austrian president said tonight, asked the United States not to prejudge the government until it does something, if anything. Still overseas in Chechnya today, Russian commanders say they're in control of the capital Grozny after a fight that has been long and brutal. Thousands of Chechens dead, hundreds of thousands driven from their homes, and the Russian military has lost more than 1,000 soldiers. For their effort, the Russians get a city in ruins. Here's ABC's Clay Scott.
For months, Russia's generals have been obsessed with capturing this city. Today, the tanks rolled in. The Russian flag flew over the residence of the Chechen president. We did it, the Russians wrote on the walls, February 4th. It's ours forever, says this officer. Not a single bandit will ever live here again. It's hard to imagine that anyone will live here again. This is what the Russians have won. Street after street of devastation in what was once a thriving capital. Gutted buildings, some still in flames. Not a single one without the scars of bullets or bombs.
No, не бойся, не бойся.
The few civilians left in the city, terrified. Where can I go, she says. What can I do? The Russians were boasting about what they did and how they did it. We tricked them, this general says. He said several hundred Chechens were promised safe passage out of the city for $100,000. Apparently, the trap worked. Hundreds of them were killed crossing a minefield. More died when the Russians opened fire. That, says the general, is how the question of Grozny was solved. But the question of Chechnya is far from solved. Thousands of Chechen fighters have escaped to the mountains, and they intend to fight again. Clay Scott, ABC News, Moscow.
When World News Tonight continues, can the economy in the U.S. stay strong when it is so hard to find workers? And we'll take a closer look at putting real life on television. A wave of European programs are headed for America.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Charles Schwab.
We're tied in double overtime.
Net 1, Pearl 2.
Bingo!
Mr. Barkley wins again.
These days, it's never too early to think about retirement. Maybe that's why so many people go to Schwab.com. In a few steps, you can open a Roth, a traditional IRA, or a rollover, invest in a range of funds, and plan for the future. Because retirement,
You got the upper.
comes sooner than you think.
I was about as miserable as a girl could be. Heartburn worse than yesterday's coffee. And pain. My antacid didn't do the whole job. And Pepcid takes so long. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer. It just plain worked better.
Alka-Seltzer, the only one with the medicines to relieve all your symptoms.
It really works fast.
And only Alka-Seltzer has the effervescent power to speed relief.
Alka-Seltzer. It made a believer out of me.
Get better relief. Get Alka-Seltzer.
You can rationalize it all you want, but eventually you're gonna get caught.
There's a tan minivan in the parking lot with its lights on. Whoever owns the tan minivan, your lights are on.
Okay, you're busted. It's time to check out the redesigned Mitsubishi Montero Sport. It's only the family car when the family's in it.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
On the money tonight, the job market is getting tighter, and it's tight already. The unemployment rate fell to 4% last month, and the economy generated jobs at the fastest pace in more than 2 years. Hiring was up among retailers, the government, even manufacturers, recovering from the Asian economic crisis. But in this economy, more jobs are not a complete blessing. Here's ABC's Betsy Stark.
The overall picture from today's job report is one of a shrinking labor pool struggling to keep up with an expanding economy.
What the Fed is worried about, what Greenspan loses sleep over, is the idea, the thought that we're running out of warm bodies. Everyone in America who can breathe has a job.
The Fed's fear is, with the job market so tight, the only way to attract workers will be to offer higher wages. If a company has to pay more for labor, it may have to charge more for the products it makes. In a phrase, a recipe for inflation. Wage wars have already broken out in some quarters. Law firms, desperate to keep young lawyers from defecting to internet companies, have ratcheted up the starting salaries of first-year associates 40% to $140,000 a year.
Talented people have lots of choices, and we want to make sure that we have more than our fair share.
Other employers, hoping to avoid spiraling wages, are offering increasingly lavish perks. In Atlanta, every job at the RSI software company comes with a lease for a new BMW.
Had it not been for the nature of the market and so on, I don't think we would ever have conceived of the idea.
It makes you think twice to go somewhere else.
Some employers are fighting the worker squeeze by trying to squeeze more out of existing workers. Forced overtime is now common in the fast-growing telecom industry, where many workers feel stretched to the limit.
People are just feeling like, okay, what do? I need to, relieve the stress. And the company doesn't want to hear, oh, I can't come in because I have a headache.
As long as a worker's productivity increases faster than a worker's wages, inflation can be held at bay. But no one is sure how long that can last, and should it end, it could take the longest-running economic boom in American history down with it. Betsy Stark, ABC News, New York.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 49 points to close at 10,963. On the NASDAQ, stocks were up 33 points to finish at 4244, and that is a record high. In South Carolina today, the big mo, as in momentum, for Senator John McCain after winning New Hampshire's Republican primary. And by the time this weekend is over, he'll have taken his campaign to California and Michigan, too, hoping very much that he'll get the same reaction there. George W. Bush is going to Texas for a meeting on what his campaign can do to stymie Mr. McCain. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
The Bush campaign is no longer disputing signs that John McCain is now ahead in South Carolina and could win the state where he was a 20-point underdog just days ago. But even though he's just had the worst week of his campaign, Bush was showing little anxiety today, other than a sharpening of his attacks on McCain.
My friend is raising money from people who have business in front of his committee. Nothing illegal about that. But I just want to make sure the facts are laid bare. 35 of Senator McCain's own colleagues have made the decision to stand by my side. To me, that speaks volumes.
So far, no one on the Bush campaign is taking much heat for its precipitous slide.
The same national campaign staff that helped work with the people of Iowa to win Iowa are working with the people of South Carolina to win South Carolina.
Those people helped to lose New Hampshire, and there are questions now about the strategy being pursued elsewhere. Is Bush sounding so conservative in South Carolina that he may risk the support of moderates in Michigan, where he campaigned today? Are all those big-name endorsements really helping? Or do they make Bush out to be a tool of the establishment, a famous father's son?
And this boy, this son of ours, is not going to let you down.
Is Bush working hard enough? He's taking this weekend off, for example. And why is it that McCain's good government message seems to resonate more deeply with voters than anything Bush is saying? As one Republican strategist said to us today, the Bush message has got to be more than just, we can win. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Troy, Michigan.
Just a word today about what the cockpit voice recorder on board the Alaska Airlines plane has revealed, that a flight attendant reported a loud noise at the rear of the aircraft, and the pilot said they heard it too. Just minutes earlier, the plane had experienced its first sudden, uncontrolled dive. The horizontal stabilizer, which is suspected in the crash, is located in the tail. Just 1 minute before the end of the recording, another loud noise is heard on the tape, and the plane goes out of control. There was no stall warning heard in the cockpit, as earlier reported. When we come back, Tulsa, Oklahoma tries to make amends for a massacre.
Morning comes before the sun in Wisconsin Rapids. It's how people here get 100% out of each day. This is the home of Northland Cranberries. Only 100% juice goes into Northland brand juices. Folks seem to appreciate that, especially since some cranberry drinks have as little as 18% juice. But that's not how we do things around here. At Northland, we always give 100%.
Do you need a new car? Do you need to see the ocean? Is watching a sunset absolutely necessary? Introducing the all-new, redesigned Avalon, the most spacious, most luxurious sedan we've ever created. Do you need a new car?
All moved in. What's for lunch?
lunch? Chicken and star soup. Condensed soup? I used to eat that too. And then I got out of the high chair. You're an adult now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle. With all white meat chicken, bigger vegetables, just the right seasonings. See the difference? This is better. Now, if you could just eat without the bib.
It's time to go to the better taste of Progresso and win one of 10,000 great prizes. Enter the It's Time to Go Progresso Instant Win Sweepstakes.
That was a real scare with my overactive bladder. I was going so often. Then, bottom of the ninth, suddenly I had to go. But that time, I didn't think I'd make it.
That did it. I called my doctor.
You don't just have to accept overactive bladder. It's a medical condition, and doctors have treatments that can help.
Need a break?
Not right now.
Ask your doctor or call for information.
If you have overactive bladder, do what I did. Get help.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma today, by almost all accounts, a long overdue attempt to put history in perspective. For 80 years, what happened in Tulsa was always called a race riot. Today, a government commission called it a massacre. Here's ABC's Kevin Newman.
What I remember, the night of the race riot.
Eldoris McConaughey was 9 when she saw her neighborhood destroyed.
We could see where the buildings, all of the business part was just bricks, stones, everything just blown to pieces.
For more than 12 hours on June 1st, 1921, thousands of angry whites ransacked, burned, and looted the prosperous black district of Tulsa. More than 100 people were murdered. Thousands more were forced into internment camps. And then it was largely forgotten.
The worst civil disturbance since the Civil War was erased from history as if it didn't happen.
The victims of the Tulsa Massacre.
Today, the commission tried to correct that, charging authorities at the time failed to help blacks and conspired to cover up a massacre.
There was never any talk of reconciliation with the black community at the time. No apologies, no nothing.
Having now confronted their past, Tulsans are deeply divided over how to reconcile it. Some believe it's enough to have simply acknowledged the shame and learned from it. But there are others who believe that you can repair the effects of hate by compensating its victims.
Here in Tulsa, nobody never did give us nothing back for our home that got burned down and whatnot. We lost everything.
The commission says Otis and other survivors should get compensation, and Tulsa's black community scholarships and memorials. It leaves how much to spend to Oklahoma's state legislature. Polls suggest most of the city's whites oppose payments, including Ed Wheeler, who wrote the first account of the riot. He's recovering from eye surgery.
I'm not responsible for my grandfather's sins. Neither should my grandchildren be responsible for mine.
But the commission argues restitution is the best way to repair the legacy of hate. Kevin Newman, ABC News, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
In other news today, there are serious questions about the only study which found that bone marrow transplants are effective in the fight against breast cancer. The study's lead investigator, who's a South African, has been accused of falsifying data in the study. The question is, have any women with breast cancer had a bone marrow transplant unnecessarily? The government wants Americans to think differently about fat, and it's written the first new nutrition guidelines in 5 years. The guidelines say there are dangerous fats, like those found in some meats, and healthier fats found in fish and olive oil. The old rules suggest simply a diet low in all fats. Next in the broadcast, the changing face of television, interactivity, and looking places you didn't expect.
I went on chemo at the time my oldest daughter was getting married. We had planned everything, the fabric, the design, the whole gown. But when it was time to sew the dress, the chemo, it makes you weak. My whole life I've made clothes for other people, but for my own daughter's wedding, I was too tired to make the dress.
Are you a chemotherapy patient? Ask your doctor about Procrit. Procrit is a natural way to regain red blood cells lost during chemotherapy, and more red blood cells can mean more strength. Procrit is safe and effective. In studies, only diarrhea and edema occurred more often with Procrit than placebo. Procrit is for patients with non-myeloid cancers. Call now and learn how Procrit can help you get back the strength you need. Your strength for living.
In life, you take the bitter with the sweet. But I plan to end up with more sweet.
Giving 100% is a way of life here in Wisconsin Rapids. So only 100% juice goes into Northland brand juices, while some cranberry drinks have as little as 18% juice. But at Northland, we always give 100%.
Why is Lysol spray the best way to help protect your family? Because of what it does, kills the cold bug in seconds, and what it doesn't do, leave the sticky film Clorox spray does. That's why nothing beats Lysol.
How much power do you really need? The Sierra Extended Cab has the most powerful standard engine of any truck in its class. Not because you need it now, but because one day you will. And being prepared for that day is what having a professional-grade truck is all about. The GMC Sierra, above and beyond.
Are we gonna have a good time tonight?
Bye, Dad. Thanks for jumping in and watching Tyler.
Bye, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. There he goes.
If you knew you were gonna be a babysitter today...
Oh, glad it wasn't my teeth.
You would have made sure you used Fixodent.
Come here. Oh, what do you do?
Hey, smart move. You did use Fixodent. So now you're ready.
I gotta wait.
For just about anything. For an even better fit. Fixodent and forget it.
My dad was a coach at Georgia School for the Deaf. I grew up in an environment where deaf kids kind of adopted me in their culture.
Thank all of you for coming to the camp today.
When I first went to Merrill Lynch, I was very impressed with Steve Maloney. He was very easy to talk to, and he listened well.
So it's important for all of us to listen well and to cooperate. Every day you're building your future.
Tonight, teaching wasn't the only thing in this principal's blood. She deceived her students, their parents, and now this not-so-average heroin addict speaks to 2020.
You blew more than $150,000 on heroin. Easily.
2020, tonight.
Next, air travel just got more expensive. Most airlines are now charging you extra for the jet fuel. Plus, some people have to drive hundreds of miles to take in a movie. A lawsuit might help them stay closer to home. I'm Kathy Marshall. Local news is next.
We're going to take a closer look at television tonight, now and whenever. We all know the basics. More television available than ever before, and because we no longer have to get out of our chairs to change the channel when we don't like it, there was a much bigger challenge for the program makers to capture and hold our attention. So where are the new ideas, or at least relatively new? Some of them in other countries. Here's ABC's James Walker.
Europe is the launching pad for a dozen new shows based on real-life experiences. They are smash hits there.
I like them. I think they're quite addictive.
And they are coming here.
Something that is likely going to change the entire equation of popular culture in America.
Change it because these shows star real people willing to surrender their privacy for cash.
The hitch is that participants must agree to allow cameras to capture whatever they say, whatever they do, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're not just talking about walking down a hallway.
CBS paid more than $20 million for the Dutch hit Big Brother. In this contest, 9 complete strangers try to live together in a house for 99 days. Every 2 weeks, someone gets expelled from the house. The last person left wins $125,000. In a similar show, contestants are stranded on a desert island for 50 days. The person who goes the distance wins $1 million. In both shows, the audience gets to see all the tension and vote at various stages who should be told to drop out. There is another new show in the works modeled on this British documentary series where a family agreed to try living as people lived in the 1900s. They did not have electricity.
Everything takes 3 times as long, like the cooking and everything.
She had to do the laundry in the backyard.
About bickering about this, our food quantity is getting less and less and less, but it is.
We've had Tina in tears because people are just shouting.
What we're looking for, of course, is conflict. We're looking for people who will go to the edge.
Sometimes they have gone over the edge, A Swedish TV show put volunteers on an isolated South Pacific island. One of the contestants who was voted off the island later committed suicide. James Walker, ABC News, New York.
So where is television going from here? We are not sure that anyone knows for certain, but our technology correspondent Jack Smith has some of the latest ideas on what TV may become.
Be sure to tune in next week for
television as it used to be. As it is today, bigger with more choices, and TV as it may become in just a few years. A lot more like the internet.
The internet is the most significant change in creating what becomes the next mass media that I think any of us will encounter in our lifetime.
Utilizing unused lines in the TV spectrum, broadcasters are learning how to insert brand new interactivity into TV programs.
There will be a bug, like the little ABC bug on your program, that will indicate that interactivity is present. Then, just with a standard remote control like this, you'd be able to press one button and say, start that interactivity.
A menu would appear similar to the one on a website that would let you interact with the program as it was being broadcast. To see a recipe during a cooking show, for example, or even pause the show and shop for the very ingredients the chef is using on TV.
And it will bring the right quantity of things directly to my house.
To make what we just saw on television.
Absolutely.
You will also be able to interact with TV commercials.
And if I click on that, I have the option to buy it.
You can buy the clothes that the actors are wearing in this commercial?
Directly online. With one click, I can go ahead and come in and then buy that shirt online.
Even news programs like this one could be enhanced so that you could change camera angles. And if you wanted, pause what I'm saying and go back to Peter Jennings and watch the next story. Or skip to the last story on the show. Or perhaps go deeper into a topic and even view an interview prepared for Nightline.
You're going to see television evolve to become more like the internet, meaning more choice, the ability to do the sorts of things you want to do at the moment in time you wish to do them.
Some new media companies think the internet will actually replace TV and are producing shows for the internet.
You choose when you want to see it. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Go to their website and pick the shows you want to watch when you want to watch them.
That's what digital technology allows us to do with this medium of the internet, this amazing, revolutionary medium that is going to blow everything else away in the long run.
And that long run is coming a lot sooner than we think. Jack Smith, ABC News, Santa Monica, California.
Well, the tie's not for sale, though someone here just a moment ago said it probably should be. For another look at interactive television, some people call it lean forward instead of lean back TV. You can go, of course, to abcnews.com. Spend the whole weekend there. That's our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020 Friday, and on Nightline, why drug courts in the United States are focusing more on rehabilitation. I'm Peter Jennings. We hope you have a good weekend. Good night.
From ABC News, Sunday, he took New Hampshire. Now in his only Sunday stop, candidate McCain takes on Sam. Plus, Hillary's announcing. What's Rudy think? The gloves come off on This Week from New York's Times Square, Sunday. And Monday, Good Morning America talks with Hillary's chief advisor.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Channel 2 News is brought to you by Teplick Laser Surgery Centers. You're watching KATU Portland.